Alright, some time ago I did a video showing how to connect a Studiolive console into a Presonus digital stage box. And in that video it was just one console connecting to one stage box. So what I thought I would do is show you how two consoles would connect to a single stage box. This would be a front of house setup, and this one over here would be for monitor setup. Here is how I would set this up, and I'm setting this up for simplicity. Alright, everything is powered off, so let's get stuff connected. Alright, so to use two consoles, we're going to be using the switch. So we're going to connect our stage box directly into the switch. Alright, let's get the monitor connected, and I'm using this cable here is a 100-foot Cat 5e. Okay, we're going to be connecting the monitor console into the switch. Alright, let's get the front of house console connected. Alright, let's get the front of house console connected into the switch. Alright, and this is why a good console case matters. Now, the Ethercon is sitting in here. There's not really any tension on it causing it to come up like this. I cannot go underneath the doghouse lid because the lid opening here is not large enough to support this cable. That is in my opinion, that's a design flaw with the case. So at some point, probably in the very near future, I am going to cut this out more right here to make room, actually to accommodate any other kind of Ethercon that would be used on here. So a good case design is very important. We're going to set this up with front of house is going to be on 15. All right, and we're going to use input 3. All right, and for the monitor send, we're actually going to take it directly from the monitor console, not the digital stage box, which I will explain. We're going to take this aux 1 output, and we are going to actually route it to the monitor console. Okay, we're going to take that and we are going to plug it into, we'll use channel 16. All right, this is our front of house, main PA. All right, and then this is our monitor speaker. All right, this is how everything is set up. We have our inputs coming in. We've got the output, or that connection from the stage box into the switch. We've got the front of house console into the switch, monitor console into the switch. We have the main output coming to the front of house PA. We've got the monitors actually connected directly to the monitor console. Now, this one output that I was referencing just a bit ago, it's coming out of here and it's connecting into the monitor console. We're setting it up this way from this output to this console so that we can take signals from front of house and send them to the monitor to be used in the monitor speakers. The first thing to turn on needs to be the digital stage box. All right, the next thing to turn on is going to be the consoles. The switches come on. I've got 3 lights here showing there's connection between all the components. Okay, next thing to turn on, actually the last thing to turn on, is the speakers. All right, everything is connected and powered on, and the camera may not show it too well, but there is a green light that's on over here, which green means it's good, but it's still not clocked yet. Okay, so with both consoles connected, the consoles themselves are actually listening. They're actually listening to each other. So what we're going to do is we want to set up this console here, our 32, the full-size console, as the front-of-house console. The preamp permissions are now the 32, which is this whole console here. All right, so let's set up our outputs. And let's see here. Yeah, 41 through 48. These are AVB sends. If you remember, these are not the analog sends. And then 49 through 56. All right, let's apply that. And then we should see our green light here turn blue in just a few seconds, indicating that the console has control. There we go. All right, that looks good. All right, let's set up the inputs for this. As you can tell, Studiolive 32SC, we can get streams from that console, which is what the Presonus in their documentation is showing doing. But I think that ends up being a lot more convoluted than what it actually needs to be. All right, input 1 through 8. And as you can tell, this console can see the monitor console. And it's providing its sends from the monitor console to be used over here, but that's not what we want. We want to use the input streams directly from the stage box. So we're going to select, this is 1 through 8, and we're going to select the 32.16, 1 through 8. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, that looks good. Let's take a look at our digital patching. All right, we're going to set up, because this is going to be the main console, we want to set up the AVB 15, the mix 15, to be main left for an output. Main left. There we go. All right, there we go. AVB 55, 56, main left, main left. Now let's take a look at the monitor console. What do we got here? All right, here are the streams. Monitor console is defaulting to getting its input streams from the Studiolive console. We do not want that. All right, so what we're going to do is get the input streams from the stage box, but what we're going to take is the gain compensated streams. We're not going to take the regular NSB streams. We want the NSB streams that are going to be gain compensated. So our first one's selected here, and we're going to come down to here and select that one. So its input 1 through 8 is now the sends 1 through 8 from the NSB box. So we're just going to go down the line and set up the next grouping. All right, everything is on a gain compensated stream. Let's go back, let's check our remote I/O. So it can see the Studiolive 32 console. It sees its modes and standalone. And what we're going to do here is on the outputs, we do not want to use any of the outputs. On the monitor console, we're actually going to be taking the outputs on the monitor to be analog, not digital. And this is what makes a big difference in how the NSB box is used compared to that with the front of house console. So it's going to be digital signals coming into the monitor console, but all of these aux sends are actually going to be using the analog output. And this is what maintains the simplicity of it. So instead of getting it digitally and setting this up in a very odd manner of, let's say, the front of house getting its signals from the monitor console, we want these consoles to be completely independent, for the most part, independent of each other. So they can manage and control the sound as they are designed to do. So we're going to leave these blank. Let's check the digital patching. We go to the input sources. Is to go through and select our inputs and change these from analog to digital. So I'm going to select, let's see, number 1 over here, and we're going to change its input to the network. And that's all we've got to do is go across each one of these and just select network. Now I can do that on the touch screen, but it's just a lot easier to do it this way. As you can tell, everything here is in that center column. Shows everything's on the network. Looks good. All right. Let's take a look at the system. Now the internal clock here, the network clock shows that it is internal. That's what we want to see on the front of house, the main console. So let's compare that. All right. Now if you can tell, the network clock there shows network stream. Any console that is connected to the AVB network, any other console other than the main one should always show a network stream. So it's getting its clocking actually from the front of house console. We're connected in here for our mic. So let's get a front of house signal coming through. Check 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay, it's coming in on channel 3, test 1, 2, 2, 1, 2. I'm going to add some gain. 2, 1, 2, 2. Check 1, 2. Now let's go over here and take a look at the monitor console. Test 1, 2. The stream is coming in over here. Check 1, 2, 2, 1, 2. All right, so both consoles are now receiving the same signal, but each of these consoles is getting the signal directly from the NSB box. It's not getting the signal from another console. Test 1, 2. All right, let's get our front of house. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2. All right, 2, 1, 2. That is out. I've got it muted. Test 1, 2. So let's go take a look at the monitor console. 2, 2. And I haven't touched anything on an input. So let's take a look at, I believe it's mix 1. I've got stuff connected into. All right, 2, 1, 2. Let's see. Volume is up. 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. Check 1, 2. And there's the monitor console. 1, 2. So even though this console here is just running monitors, I mean, we could select a main mix on it, but we really don't need to because the main mix isn't going to be used for it, only the monitors. And the monitor here, this is the analog cable that is coming out of the back of the console itself, too. It's nothing that's coming out of the stage box. Okay, monitors are down. We'll just go over here, check 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. I'll just unmute 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, and in the front of house. As I said, completely independent of each other. Okay, so one thing I didn't go over just yet was this aux output here. The front of house console still has full control of all of these aux outputs. The monitor console does not. And as I said, any of the monitor outputs on here are actually the analog outputs that are running either to a powered speaker or they're running to a monitor amplifier. So the front of house console still has control over the output. So what I'm going to do is set up, and what I've got here is our little player here. This is a DI box. So I've got the DI box connected into channel 32. Now if I push channel 32 over here, I don't know how well you can see that, but this network light is lit up brighter than everything else. And we know this is on, 32 is getting its input from the network. All we're going to do is change that over to analog. This cable here, the aux out, which is being controlled by the front of house console, this is being sent to channel 16 on the monitor board. So what we need to do is come over to channel 16, and we're going to set channel 16 as an analog input. So even though it's coming from a digital stage box, it's coming into the console as an analog input. And we're going to use channel 16 to route the music into the system. All right, let's start the music on, this is for channel 32. All right, we got a good strong signal here. Gain looks good. Add a little bit of volume front of house. All right, so it's coming through front of house, but what we want to do is route this signal through the aux1 output. So I've selected, as you can tell, everything turned yellow. I've selected mix 1, everything is yellow. I'll come over here. This is our signal coming in. Okay. All right, and this is now on the aux mix. So what's happening is that I'm taking the signal from the main input over here. I'm routing it over here to mix 1, which matches the mix 1 output on that lower cable here. And that cable is being sent over to here, and you can tell there is level. So the input here is coming in on channel 16. We're actually using mix 1 over here for monitors. So we're adding channel 16 to monitor 1 mix. Our main volume control is over here. Whereas over here, where it's being sent to the monitors over here, we can still control it. But on something like this, we would actually we would probably just set a level, and then we would just leave it over here, and then we'd manage the main level for everything on the monitor console. Now, even though this is going to monitor 1, all I have to do is just pick mix 2, and I could add it to the mix 2 monitor. Mix 3 goes to the mix 3 monitor. I think you get the idea. This is how we can take a signal from front of house and route it using a digital aux send and have it route back to the monitor console. This is very similar to how an analog is set up when you've got a CD player at front of house and the musicians and band, they need to hear it in the monitors. All right, and back on the chart, this is how this setup works. I can connect something directly into the front of house console. So once again, it's the MP3 player connected into here. The console is connected to the switch. The signal is sent from the switch into the stage box. And then right here is that aux1 send. comes out of the aux1 output bus, and then it goes to the input. This is channel 16 input on this particular console. And then channel 16 is just routed to all the monitors here. And then the analog monitor sends goes to their respective either speakers or amplifiers. So this is how we get all the stuff we need for the monitors routed into the monitor console. And then also, if I wanted to, I could set up another aux send on the digital stage box, maybe have it go into channel 15 and have something separate. I just wanted to show how to connect two consoles to one NSB stage box. One console is the front of house. The other console is a monitor. These are both independent. They're not getting feeds from each other. Both of them are getting a feed from the NSB stage box. For me, this is the simplest way to hook it up. I'm sure there's more complex methods that could be done to do this, but I'm all for the simple way of doing things. All right, thanks for watching.